This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velarde. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
And on the air. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show that, man, makes you smile so big that you just can't think. Anyway, welcome to the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Gletta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my partner, Brian. The Ranger Tar. Brian, how are you today?
Throwing things again.
That's...
Medication,
Mike. Can't stop you. I hope you contain me. Anyway, today with another of our NFL specials, we are going to talk Miami Dolphins today. And who better to talk Miami Dolphins than the man who loves Miami Dolphins more than life itself? That is the one, the only, Jorge Carde. George.
How you doing?
Oh, George, thanks for stopping in. Welcome back. Another fun-filled action-packed year in the NFL.
Glad to be back.
Attaboy.
Can't wait for NFL.
All right, and as usual, Brian, stat me. Let's talk about the Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. They were 10-6 last year, good enough for second place in the AFC East. They surprisingly made the playoffs. I don't think many people thought that they would coming into last year, but they did. They did end up taking a loss to Pittsburgh in the wild card round, but they got there. Give them some credit.
Right.
Matt Moore played that game due to Tannehill injury. Passing offense was not good, 26th in the NFL, but the rushing offense, thanks to a revelation from Jay Ajayi, 9th, led to the 24th overall total offense there. Tannehill did miss 3 games toward the end of the season, did not clear 3,000 yards, had 19 TDs, 12 picks. Ajayi had a great year. Ajayi was not supposed to be the starter, but he took that job when Foster got hurt. 1,200 yards, 1,272 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 1 lost fumble all year. Great job by him. Landry is a reception machine, 94 for 1136 and 4 touchdowns, but defensively, not good.
You got that one breath, didn't you?
I'm very light. I get a lot of air. And
I'm pretty impressed.
I talk fast. It is what it is. I'm East Coast. Anyway, 16th against the pass through the air, 30th on the ground defensively, led to the 29th best defense out of 32 teams. They addressed that defense in the first round. They took Charles Harris, 22nd overall, linebacker out of Missouri. George, the story last year to me was Jay Ajayi. Foster was brought in a free agent. He was crowned as always going to be the great running back, and he kind of flamed out very quickly. Ended up getting hurt. Ajayi took the reins and ran with it. How excited does that make you for this season?
Well, that was great, and you know what? I give a lot of credit to Jay for sure on that, but I think you should also mention the offensive line. Our offensive line, after it came together after the first couple games, which we had a couple guys hurt, it came together, and there was a time like halfway through the season where we were just holes were huge. You could have ran a truck through them. So Jay rode that. He definitely rode it. Towards the end, our center got hurt. Mike Ponce got hurt, and we had some other injuries. Brandon Albert, who's no longer with us, he got hurt. So running game struggled again towards the end. Right. That's not to say that he wasn't great. He was great. I'm looking forward to this season. Our offensive line is restocked, retooled. So I'm looking forward to him also having a great season.
You talk about the passing offense of the Miami Dolphins with wide receivers such as Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills, Jarvis Landry. Here are guys that are, I wouldn't say superstars in the league. I would say maybe at the average to above average talent. And they went out and signed Kenny Stills with a 4-year deal where there was other guys in the league that wanted Kenny Stills. But do you think the Dolphins did enough, especially wide receiver being this far down in the passing offense, to just sign Kenny Stills and not look at anyone else?
I do. All right, and let me tell you why. Second year under Gase, I think Tannehill's going to be better. If you would have asked me a year ago about Tannehill, I was lower on him. My opinion of him was a lot lower. This year, believe it or not, I thought he did well. First year under Gase. Second year, usually quarterbacks do a lot better once they're second year in the system. So I look forward to seeing the jump there. All right, now when you talk about the wide receivers, for sure, our wide receiver there was absolutely solid. Jarvis Landry, like you said, he's a reception machine. He 94 reception, 1,136 yards on receiving, Pro Bowl player. So he's the heart and soul of our offense, of our team, really. So I look forward to him continuing where he's at. He's probably one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. Right now, you talk about your 2 other wideouts now. Devontae Parker, third year. We're looking for a jump from him. Last year, second half of the season, you saw that. First half of the season, he had some injury problems. Some of that had to do with maturity. Came out, there was an article in the paper where Gase wasn't very happy with him. He wasn't taking care of his body. As a result, he wasn't practicing well. As a result, game day would come, and he wasn't ready to go. Hamstring would act up, just wasn't ready to go.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to do with that passing offense because I didn't mention they did acquire Julius Thomas in the offseason at tight end and Anthony Fasano, who's been around a while. So that should be interesting what they do.
But defensively, again, that was, I think, again, the passing offense was what it was. It didn't really hurt them, I think, a whole lot because they were able to still move the ball with Ajayi and that great offensive line. But, defensively, they really struggled to get sacks. Only Cameron Wake had double-digit sacks on this team. And again, they did get Charles Harris, the linebacker out of Missouri, to help that defense. In a division where they got to play Tom Brady twice a year, other offenses not really that powerful. What are your thoughts leading into this season about that unit and them taking a step forward to help this offense out a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that's still my concern.
Yeah.
Especially with them being able to stop the run. Our pass defense was actually pretty decent. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It was middle of the line. But our run defense is what hurt us. Now, reading a couple articles, I read a lot Omar Kelly from the Sun Sentinel, which is a local writer from South Florida. And one of the things that he always mentions was our linebacker unit was poor. Now we do have Kiko Alonso. Now, he was great for us, right? But the problem is that he's probably better suited in the outside. He was playing middle linebacker for us. So the way that we addressed that this season is that we did go out and we signed from the Steelers. We signed Lawrence Timmons.
Yeah.
Now he's a little older, so he's more of a stopgap guy, right? So, hopefully 2-3 years we're able to draft somebody else. But he's a tackling machine. As old as he is, he's pretty healthy. So.
And who doesn't like the son of Miami?
Yeah,
coming from Pittsburgh.
Absolutely, right.
Absolutely.
So that might trigger a move where they might put Kiko on the outside where he might be better suited. You did mention our first-round pick, Charles Harris. Once again, reading Omar Kelly, all the reports up to this point. Now, of course, there's no pads on yet, but he's been a beast. He's been a monster, So we expect him to do well. He's not going to be a starter, but he's going to be a rushing specialist, which is exactly what we will need.
You talked about that passing defense, the secondary. It was an average secondary last year, at probably 16th in the league last year, if I remember Brian what he said. Byron Maxwell, I think, came on maybe a little bit at the end of the year, struggled at the beginning of the year, trying to find his way. Nate Allen, brought over from Oakland, plug in that spot. You got Rashid Jones back there and Xavier Howard. Do you think that Miami has to upgrade any more in that secondary, or you feel they're going to take a big enough step forward that's going to help them defensively?
I'm looking for Xavier Howard to do well. I mean, he's going into his third year. I forget right now. Third year, right? So he's going to third year. He was hurt towards the beginning last year.
Yep.
You mentioned Ryan Maxwell. He definitely struggled at the beginning. He was actually benched. I think third game of the season he was actually benched for performance.
The last couple games, I think he played.
Now towards the end, he came on.
Yep.
Now he's not. Byron Maxwell is not a shutdown corner. He's not one of your. But he could be solid. He could be solid, which is what we need. Looking forward to Xavier Howard. We'd also drafted a third round, fourth round guy. Tankersley, right? Hoping that he could at least come in. Not saying he's going to be a starter right away, but I don't think Byron lasts after this year. I think he has one more year left in Miami.
Which would make sense bringing Tankersley.
Yeah, so we bring in Tankersley, he'll learn under him maybe, get his feet wet, and hopefully following year he's able to start in his place.
Well, the good thing, you bring up Byron Maxwell. So the trade that brought him and Kiko Alonso to the Dolphins was a controversial trade last year with the Eagles, where the Dolphins moved down from 8 to 13 in the draft. Now, I don't think it hurt them at all because they got in Laramie Tunsil what people thought was going to be the number one pick in the draft, or at least worthy of that pick. Obviously, there was some talk, obviously with the mask and the video.
Yes, mask went up that week.
It did, but that is what it is. I think they got a steal here. It sounds like they're ready to let him really take that left tackle position. That's why that they got rid of Brandon Albert to let him take that spot. Great job by them.
Oh, absolutely. Brandon Albert's gone. So he's going to move over to the left tackle. It's definitely going to be him. The only problem I have with that is that moving him over from left guard to left tackle opened up a hole there in left guard. Now, at the moment, they signed Ted Larson from the Bears. And they also have Craig Hubert, which was there last year. One of those two got to win the job. But if either one of them don't do well, left guard is going to be a problem. But, of course, left tackle is probably
the most important
position. Tunsil should do well. And if he goes down, I don't know how good our depth is. So I'm a little worried about that, so hopefully he'll stay healthy.
Fair enough.
You look at the schedule for the Miami Dolphins this year. They open up against the Bucs, who considerably upgraded in the offseason. It should be better in their division this year. Then they go on the road for a game with Los Angeles and New York. My point is, it looks like they're getting a lot of the big the big trips out of the way early, whereas to the Miami Dolphins normally head to the cold places in November and December, which hurts them.
Right.
So I think with this schedule, although you're playing big ticket teams, I think it's going to help them because they're playing in their own environment.
Right.
If that makes any sense to you. The only game that's late is Kansas City and maybe New England, but New England's always a tough game, no matter where you play them. And Kansas City is going to be tough because you always play tough in Arrowhead. But I think Miami's schedule sets up really well for them this year.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed last year, we started off real
Well,
slow.
0-1 out of the gate's going to be tough. But
No, I'm going on record right here today to say I'm going on record right here, right now. Dolphins get a W against the Buccaneers, no doubt.
That'll be a different show. We're not asking him back again. So anyway,
I'll get you have my Mayweather McGregor. This thing.
we get the ref shirt on again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Miami has a favorable schedule this year. My whole point with that.
The thing for me looking at the schedule is coming off their bye week in week 11. It is a late bye, which is probably in their favor, but
Yeah, it's a rough road.
4 out of 6 division games in
Yeah.
the last 6 games of the year. They're in New England, or they're facing New England 2 out of 3 weeks, and they face the Bills 2 out of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You mentioned that they're going to go to some cold weather climates.
Buffalo,
Right around
Kansas
Christmas
City,
time, Buffalo and Kansas City.
back to back. And if they have any shot at getting in the playoffs, it could be dimmer.
Yeah, I mean, they might need to really get 7 out of their first 10 games to be wins because that last 6 is a bear.
And an 8:30 Sunday night game against New England.
No, agreed. We have to have a strong start,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the Bucs game aside, they do have some road games against beatable teams in the Chargers and the Jets. They do get the Saints at home, which is better, obviously, than playing them on the road. Different team, obviously, outside of the dome. Tennessee again. I mean, facing the Jets, they should get 2 wins there. I mean, you look at their first 7 games, you got to think they're at least 4-3, even potentially up to 5-2.
That's the way I was looking at it. When
Yeah.
the schedule first came out, that's what I was sort of predicting myself.
4 primetime games, 1 game in London, and 1 4:00 game. That's kind of a mixed bag right there.
Well, that's right. That's the London game.
That
The
is
Saints are
London
definitely
game,
not the
that's
same.
the Saints.
Out of the
We ended up
country.
losing a home game because of that. I hate those London games, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It hurts
I like
us
the
more
London
than it helps
games,
us.
Yeah, that does. So make your prediction.
All right, my prediction this year. Last year, I think I was. I think I went 8-8 last year.
Okay.
And they surprised me. They did better. They made the playoffs.
Yep.
This year, I expect them to continue to improve. I'm going to go on record to say they're 11-5.
11-5.
11-5. They're not going to win the AFC East. I still don't think they're good enough to be the Patriots.
Well, yeah,
I have to.
Sure.
They're just lucky to draw that division. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
until the
yeah.
Patriots go down. You
But 11-5, we make one of the wild cards.
Well, they win in week 1, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ass hurts, George. Anyway, okay. Well, you're getting better. I think Miami could be a better team. I think they showed it last year. They do have a running game. They're improved. The wide receiving core is still intact. Tannehill hopefully gets a little bit better. Me and Brian are as big as Tannehill as you are, but
Yeah,
it's okay.
I think I think Kenny Stills overshadowed Devontae Parker last year, and I think if you ask the Dolphins, that's probably not what they ideally were looking for. They were looking for Parker to take that next step, to be a legitimate outside threat, given that Landry's a great slot guy.
So I'm hoping that Parker takes that step, which still is already in the fold.
Yep.
That's what I believe is going to help Kenny.
What you hope for too is Tannehill takes a bigger step forward because now he's got more chemistry with all 3 guys. They've been there for
I
a
tell
while.
you, he grew on me the past year. You would a year ago, I was like, nah, we got to get rid of him.
You
This
all right?
year, he grew on me.
George, you need a moment? You all right?
Well, here's my question for you though. If let's just say devil's advocate, he does not take that step forward.
Then we're in trouble.
Okay, he's been there for 5 years now, so at some point they really do need to take that step forward as a team.
just like we said, Blake Bortles, he's got to take the big step
Yeah.
forward. I think it's Tannehill's time to take a step forward.
No,
There's a
no
couple
doubt.
of guys in the league in the same boat,
Yeah.
I think Miami really wants to see some real advancement from that position to really lead them.
Excuses are done with him.
Yeah.
They are, and
Yeah.
I would be the first one to agree.
Yeah,
with
right.
Excuses are done.
You can say they don't have talent. You can say they don't have this. Well, they've gotten stuff around him.
They
Sure.
do.
And they have a running back now. They have receivers. So
Tight
this
end.
is a go. Just like Jacksonville last year, we said it up and down. Jacksonville should have won a division last year because of the talent they had. But either Bortles is not getting it done. They had some injuries, but they're not getting it done. And when do you put that onus on the quarterback?
Yeah, at some point he's got it right.
it's
So
go time
this
for
is the
Tannehill.
year. This is second year of Gase.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Yeah, and that could set you back a couple of years if he's not the man.
Oh, it hurts any franchise. Absolutely.
So that's all the time we have. We want to thank always the lovable and here today George Carde. for stopping out for Miami Dolphins. George?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, George, it's it was an absolute pleasure.
I'm going to have to speed between you guys for week 1 because I'm already.
We're going to do a show on the Bucs Miami.
The tension is palpable right now.
No,
It's
I'm not hostile now. They lose that game, I'll be pissed. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. Remember, you can always get us on Sportsbox on social media.
Absolutely. This is one of our 32 season previews we're doing for teams around the NFL. So make sure that you're finding your team, if you haven't found it yet, on Twitter or Facebook at Sportsbox Show, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you see everything that we have ready to go when it's posted.
If you write in, maybe we'll do some Canadian ball. How about it?
CFL?
Yeah, do some Argo shows.
I don't like that 250-yard line bit. Not a fan. I don't like that.
We can talk about it. We do some Ottawa shows and Rough Riders. We can do all that stuff. No.
Argonauts.
Yeah, exactly. We're versatile here. Wait till the cricket show comes out. You're going to love it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. That's Sportsbox. The only opinion that matters is absolutely right here. Thanks for watching. See you. 1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.